9:30. Coach Hammock, want to start with your diagnosis of the Mississippi State game and looking forward to this week?
Yeah, obviously Mississippi State, tremendous atmosphere, tremendous venue, good football team. We went down there, we played, as hard as we can, as long as we can. Didn't make enough plays to put ourselves in position to win the game, but was proud of the effort, proud of the competitive nature of our team, proud of the fight. A couple people I want to personally acknowledge. I want to acknowledge our strength staff. Want to acknowledge our training staff. Want to acknowledge Dan Wolf for all their hard work and dedication to keeping our guys healthy, hydrated, ready for the environment. As you look at it, we only had 2 guys cramp in the game. All the measures that we took to make sure our kids were, protected and healthy and able to put their best foot forward to play that game, I was extremely proud of. Obviously for us, I do believe we are getting better as a team. We're working extremely hard. Coming into this season, we have a lot of new players, a lot of new coaches, the lowest returning production in the country. I think we've been battle tested the first 3 weeks of the season. You can look at the teams that we played and you can have different assessments, but, every week we've gotten a little bit better. In this last week, I think we were much better for a half. We got to be able to play 2 halves of football that way, and we wasn't able to get it done. But, one thing I talked to our players about is, we have an accountability meeting on Monday, and I show a tape of plays that we can be better at. And what you realize, there's a lot of guys playing football for the first time. And so you hope that they can learn from some of those mistakes and grow from some of those things that happen in the game and continue to get better as the season progresses. But one thing I can say about us is that, if we continue on this path, we will get stronger as the season goes along. I think there are a lot of positives with the way that we're playing. I think our offensive line has been a huge positive. When you look at our game from last week, we started 3 guys that were walk-ons and a Division II player. And I know the stats say we gave up a sack, but really the quarterback ran out of bounds. So we played an SEC opponent, very minimal pressure. We ran the ball at a decent clip and didn't have any sacks. Number one, I think that's a testament to Coach Meadows, his ability to coach those guys, have those guys prepared, have those guys executing at a high level. 4 new starters up front. We lost 130 starts from last year, and those guys are giving us a chance to be really, really good on offense or to improve on offense. One thing I talked about to our team this morning, I told my grandfather he loved to go to the junkyard and pick up pieces. And I said, that's what we are as a team. We've been able to pick up a bunch of different pieces and build a team together with walk-ons, with different players from different areas, and we're building this thing as we go. But we are getting better if you guys continue to stay on this track. So I'm excited about this team. We got another tough opponent this week in San Diego State. Sean Lewis, I've known him for a long time. When he was a player at Wisconsin, I was a GA. We've obviously played against him when he was at Kent State, so know what he brings as a football coach, know what he brings as a competitor, have the utmost respect for him, the way his team plays. San Diego State, they're big, they're physical, they play with great energy, urgency, and tenacity. Offensively, obviously the quarterback runs it all. Is a quarterback-driven system. Sean does a great job of having plays off plays. If he shows something one week, the next week he has a play off what he showed the previous week. So we have to make sure we have great eye discipline from a defensive standpoint. And he does a great job making you defend the whole field. Defensively, those guys play without hesitation. They play violent, they play physical, they play downhill. and then you can really see the culture of their program on special teams. I think whoever is their special teams coordinator, he does a phenomenal job with their special teams, having those guys locked in. They're going to be aggressive in their punt block units. They're going to be aggressive in their field goal block units. They play with just great energy and urgency. And to me, I think the way your special teams play tells a lot about your football team. So we know we have a tremendous challenge this week, but I'm excited about our football team. We had a great practice this morning, and what we talked about this week is, we're not fighting for the inches, we're fighting for the centimeters. And when you have a team that's growing, it's the little things that make the biggest difference. And what a great opportunity this week, coming back home in front of hopefully a great home crowd. Home crowd makes a big difference. Obviously playing last week in Starkville, you see what a home crowd can do to a game. Hopefully our crowd is loud and creates a lot of energy for our football team. We really need you guys this week.
As young as this team is, you need a home game right now, don't you, just to get a little momentum for this ball club?
Well, it'd be nice to to play in front of a home crowd that's cheering you on. I think there are moments in a game where you have lulls, and having somebody cheer you on in a positive manner goes a long way towards creating that energy for you to have the ability to make plays. And so we'll be excited to play. We know we have to play cleaner football for 4 quarters, and that's what we're working on.
Coach, you talk about how little returning production this team has and all these guys who are playing football for the first time. And looking at this non-conference schedule, you face a tough FCS opponents. 2 Power 4 teams haven't lost a game yet, and now a San Diego State team that just dog-walked Cal. How do you think that helps these players kind of get tested before MAC play hits?
Yeah, I think it's great, to be honest with you, because I think you can get a false sense of security if you play some opponents that you may score a lot of points, and then you play somebody else, and then you're not as prepared as you need to be. So we should walk the rest of our schedule and say, no matter who we play, are they better than some of the teams we've already played? If they're not, then we should be looking toward playing to our standard, right? We are chasing our own standard, right? Can we play like we played a half against Mississippi State or for 3 quarters against Maryland? That's what we're chasing, right? Can we play that for 4 quarters against everybody else on our schedule? And to me, that's the greatest thing that we can do. And that's what I'm talking to my coaches about. Now we are chasing ourselves. How do we get our players better? How do we get them to understand, we are a good football team. Even though we're young, even though we're bringing a lot of people together, we just have to stay the course and keep fighting for those centimeters, because those centimeters become inches, and those inches become feet, and those feet become yards that we can make progress.
Coach, what have you seen so far from a receiving core that doesn't return a lot of production from last year?
Well, I think we have receivers that can, make plays and make explosive plays. We have to do a better job of, finding ways to get them the ball in space. We had opportunities. We had a great opportunity last week. Gary Givens, had a nice one-on-one move. We had an opportunity. We barely missed them. We had some other opportunities in those games. It's always interesting, right? I'm curious to speak to the Adidas rep. Our jerseys seem to come off our shoulder pads quite a bit, so maybe we have maybe we don't have the top-notch equipment. So I would love to speak to the Adidas rep and say, hey, what equipment does Texas A&M have? And if we can have the same jersey they have, then maybe our jersey will stay on us a little bit more. So.
And then for you on the offensive side of the ball, I know it's a work in progress, but what have you seen throughout this first month of the season that has you confident by conference play, everything?
Yeah, no, I think first of all, I think on offense, right? If you can get your line play together, right, you can build from there. And I think our line It's giving us a chance in the run game. It's giving us a chance from a protection standpoint where the quarterback can feel comfortable, and then you start building from there. And so if your line play is good, then you can, start figuring other pieces out. And I think, we're getting a little bit better. We're finding some more confidence. Now it's about, okay, let's start making plays. And I think last week I talked about pack yards, right? Yards after contact and yards after catch. We have to continue to make that an emphasis. And the more that we can make that an emphasis, the better we'll be. When you catch a ball, go vertical, a 2-yard play turns into 7. That keeps the offense in normal down and distance. We had a lot of 3rd and long situations last week. We were 1 of 9. Now, if we are 4 of 9, then that's 12 to 15 more plays on offense, and then now we have a chance to be more productive and efficient from an offensive standpoint.
You mentioned the offensive line. What have you seen working for that group?
Well, first of all, I think Coach Meadows has done a great job coaching those guys. I think he's built the chemistry, he's built the culture, he's built the camaraderie. He's an excellent technician. Like I said, we got 3 guys up front that are walk-ons. Our left guard is a Division II player, and our left tackle is Evan Malcor. And so what has worked, coaching has worked. We've evaluated, we've developed, we've coached them, and they're doing what they're coached to do. And so that's what's worked. And so if I was a coach at another university, I would ask, who was the offensive line coach at NIU, is what I would ask. And I would try to figure out who that guy is, because he is doing a phenomenal job coaching those guys up.
Coach, so the NIU offense was only 1 for 9 on 3rd downs last week. This week, what adjustments has the team made to combat that?
Yeah, no, we have to be better on 1st and 2nd down. We had some penalties on some plays. We had some holding calls last week, that put us behind the chains. And so we have to be in manageable situations on 3rd down to give us a chance to be more efficient and effective in those situations.
Coach, I want to kind of shift to the defense for a little bit. I know, the players I talk about a lot, Roy Williams, Jelani, Jacob Finley. I want to ask about Bucker Weiler. I mean, he's a guy who...
You said who? Quinn Weiler, yes.
Yeah. Just what's it been like to kind of see him come into his own this season? I mean, he makes his first start as a 6th-year senior this year, and now he's a tackling machine. Just what's it been like to see him progress to where he is?
Yeah, it was a year ago this time. He came into my office maybe a week later and said he wanted a red shirt. And we had a very hard conversation because Quinn was an exceptional special teams player for us, was a special teams captain, a guy we were depending on. And at the time, I did not agree with his decision, but I respected it. And so for him, I was proud that we had that conversation, right? And so we had that conversation, and for him to come back and be the type of player that he saw himself, I couldn't be more proud of Quinn and his development and the way that he's playing. But also, I think that's a testament to our defensive line. Coach Moore and Coach Robinson are doing a phenomenal job with that group. For a linebacker to make 10, 11, 12 tackles a game, that means the defensive line are keeping the offensive line off the linebacker and allowing that guy to run sideline to sideline and downhill. And so our defensive line with Mark Hensley, Deshaun Dixon, Alvin Gully, those guys are playing their gaps. They're taking on double teams, the things that people don't see, and allowing our linebackers to run sideline to sideline and being the type of players that those guys are capable of being.
Coach, just what's been your assessment of the punt unit through 3 games? Obviously, Danny Vukovic, this is his first season as the full-time guy. Just what have you liked from him so far?
Yeah, no, he's doing a nice job, punting the ball. We have to shore up, the protection at points. You know, last week, you know, he bobbled the ball, and then we didn't have a clean protection. This week, we are going to be extremely challenged. San Diego State is an aggressive punt block unit. They will bring overload pressure. They have guys that don't want to be blocked, and they are a tremendous unit. So we know we have a tremendous challenge this week. We have to have great operation, and we have to have great placement of the ball, because they have a situation where if you don't punt the ball in the correct spot, the returner will run one direction, and then they'll take a guy from on the line, and he'll run back and pick up the ball from the opposite side. So all your guys are running to the right because they think the ball is supposed to be punted right, and they'll have a guy run to the opposite side, pick the ball up, and run down the sideline. So not only do we have to have great operation, we have to have great location with our punts in great direction. And so we know we have a tremendous challenge this week on special teams, and you know, we understand that's an important third of the game.
Will you have one or two guys maybe yell out, you know, which way the thing's going? Or
Yeah, the punter is supposed to yell. You know, sometimes I think the punter is so happy that they punted it off that they forget the second part of their responsibility. You're supposed to punt the ball and say, right, and then everybody knows it's going to the right. But sometimes they just happy that they punted it. They watching a flight. Hey, that's a 50-yard punt, and they think their job is over. So we are certainly, we've shown Danny, and they've done it. They've done it once this year already in a game. They've done it a couple times last year. So we've shown them every time they've done it. But we know Sean is an aggressive coach. They're going to have a fake on special teams. He's going to go for it on fourth down. He's a very aggressive football coach. So we know he's going to try to find every advantage possible to try to win the game. And so we need to be on high alert in every situation.
Coach, you've talked about the relationship you have with Sean Lewis. I mean, you know from the Wisconsin days when you played him against him at Kent State. Just how much of an advantage do you get from having such familiarity with a coach rather than a coach you may not know very well?
Yeah, I mean, there's really no advantage, right? This is a player's game, and it comes down to, are your players better than his players, or his players better than your players? And that's what it comes down to. So you can have an understanding of what they do or how they do it, but if my guys can't beat his guys, it doesn't matter, right? You can call out exactly what they're doing on offense, but if his quarterback is better than your linebacker and he makes a miss, there's not much you can do. So I don't look at it from that standpoint. I think we have a good plan of how we need to operate. We try to make sure our players understand the details of the plan. But then we look at everything else of how can we get them to maximize their performance and play together as a team.
Would you say both head coaches, because you're very aggressive too. I mean, both head coaches are kind of in the same mold of game plans.
Yeah, I told our team early in the week, I said this is really a mirror image of each other, right? I think they're a very physical team. We're going to be physical. They're an aggressive team. We're going to be aggressive. So it's just going to come down to who's going to outstrain the other opponent. And that's what it's going to come down to. So I think it's going to be a great game. Hopefully we have a tremendous home crowd. And, you know, we're going to try to do everything possible to figure out a way to score one more point than they do.
Coach, you've talked about the home crowd. It's been about a month since your team's been at home, a young team. What does it mean to get them one home game before conference play starts?
It means everything. The weather looks great, right? So there's really no excuse not to come out to Husky Stadium. I think the tickets are very cost effective. I think the atmosphere, the weather, the team is getting better. Should be a great day. 2:30, so it's not too early. You can eat. You can have a beverage or two, soda, water, and then come cheer on the Huskies.
Knowing that you've seen obviously a lot of different conference play in the last couple of weeks here, now you're seeing Mountain West play. How much of this game is obviously a test for conference play, but really for you to kind of gauge where your roster is at, knowing that you're making the jump into that conference next season?
You know what? The Mountain West commissioner was here yesterday, so I met with her yesterday. So I guess they go into the Pac-12, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we played Fresno last year, so every year it's going to change. So I guess I don't look at it that way. I just look at it like, what do we need to try to do to win this particular game, and then when we go to that conference, then we'll try to figure out what we need to do to win those games when they come.
Coach, looking back at Mississippi State real quick, obviously Josh Holmes gets his first passing touchdown of the year. We've been playing the second quarter. Are we starting to see him come out of his shell a little bit more now that he's got that on the board? He's had one of his better performances of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think hopefully he should have confidence. It was a loud atmosphere. That was a good football team. He didn't panic. He ran the ball well. I think that's certainly a step in the right direction. I still think he can play a lot better. Josh Holtz is a good football player, right? He is a redshirt sophomore. He is going to get bigger. He's going to get stronger. He's going to get better as he goes. And I think his best football is in front of him. So he just got to have the confidence to say, yeah, I just played an SEC team. Every team is not going to be like that. Just go play better as the season goes along.
Coach, over the last couple of years, the quarterback position, not just this year, has just been a tough position for your teams. Where do you think it's been? Is it like people are transferring out? Is it people aren't buying in? Or what has it been that you just haven't been able to get what you want out of the quarterback position?
I mean, is the season over?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, it's the toughest position in all of sports.
It is.
Right?
It is the toughest position in all of sports, right?
I'm saying from a progression throughout the season standpoint. So like you said, so week 1, 2, 3, Josh has gotten better. What do you want to see from him in week 4 and beyond just to get this where
Yeah, I mean, I want to see him continue to make strides with the offense and be aggressive, right? Because right now, he's throwing for what, 63%? So he can take more shots, be aggressive, run the ball more. But what he's not out there doing is just giving the ball to the other team, right? He's operating. We're not having a lot of penalties. We're not doing a lot of things that's not conducive to being good on offense. Now, when you get an opportunity to have a one-on-one, win the one-on-one. When you get an opportunity to make a play in a critical moment, make the play in that critical moment. Third down, red zone, right? When you get an opportunity to scramble, right? As you said, it is the hardest position in all of sports. It takes time, right? And I think this is his 5th or 6th game starting, right? There's a lot of quarterbacks in the country that are struggling the same. And I think it takes time and maturity. And I think he's growing. He got better last week. I think he will continue to get better and better and better. And I'm excited about his future in our program.
Have you had to dial back a little bit on offense? I mean, your game plan or?
No, we haven't. We've actually added more. And so I think now we can start to – we've tried to condense things because of the opponent and who we played, but now we can figure, okay, let's go out there and, spread it around and open it up and let it fly.
Coach, real quick, I want to ask about Jasper Beeler. Obviously, you get him from Saginaw Valley State in the offseason. Gets 10 tackles against Mississippi State. Just what have you liked how he's added to the secondary alongside Muhammad?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a guy that obviously, he's starting. He's doing some good things back there. But I think he'll tell you himself he needs to play better as well. So, he had a better practice this morning. We need a lot more from him in the secondary. for us to be what we want to be on defense. He needs to make sure that he is playing at a high level on the back end of our defense each and every single week.
All right, thank you, Coach. All right, this week's student athletes, we have Ty Miles, our starting nickel, here on the left, and then Landon Roan, our starting center here on the right. Questions for our student athletes?
Landon, I'll start with you. Obviously, this is your first season, as NIU's full-time starting center, a position that's been held by some pretty good players. Just how have you felt in that role so far?
I mean, it's been a pretty easy role to come into. I think from the guys in front of me the past few years, they've made it pretty easy to learn and understand. And I think with Meadows, makes it pretty simple that I can every week go out and do my job.
And another question, just what's your assessment of this San Diego State defense? I read they are top 35 in almost every defensive category.
Yeah, from what I've seen with their D-line, great group of guys. They got a good pass rush. I think it's going to be another test for us to go see how well we can do as a unit.
And Ty, can you just talk a bit about what this defense has, how this defense has been tested these first 3 games and kind of what the big improvement is going into this Saturday?
Yeah, so, I mean, teams, because we got a new secondary, so teams was obviously trying to attack our secondary. But, we've done a good job the past few weeks versus Maryland and Mississippi State, doing a good job of handling that. And this week they're going to try to throw the ball on the perimeter, so we want to make sure we do a good job of handling that too, and keep getting off blocks and keeping them back. So yeah.
What's been the success on third down for you guys this year? You guys are ranked 43rd, coming in at 32%. Just talk about that success. And
yeah, so it all just comes down to executing our assignments and our techniques and understanding what the offense likes to do on third down. And so once you know that, and then you know what your job is, all it comes down to is execution.
Landon, just what's been, Coach was very saying things like how the O-line's been playing so far this year. Just what have you seen working for you guys?
I think really just trusting each other. I think that's a big thing. I mean, we got 7 guys that have been playing, rotate a little bit. I think the biggest thing is whether I have Tommy at guard with me or Tweedy or AC, we all trust each other and we trust what Meadows says, and it works great.
And this will be for both of you. Obviously, these past 2 games, you've been in loud, very packed stadiums that have been rooting against you, and now you're back home for the first time in a month. Is there a bit of relief there that you can finally get someone cheering for you for the first time in a while?
Yeah, it is, but I don't know. You dream, as a kid, you dream of those atmospheres. Playing against Maryland and Mississippi State, so that's kind of like a big time thing. Enjoying that atmosphere and playing in that big crowd like that. But it's always nice to come back home after environments like that and have somebody cheering for you.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice, but at the same time, as an offense, we talked about going to those big stadiums, those boos, those are for us. So take it like that. But yeah, coming back here in front of the Husky fans, it'll be nice.
Kai, you talked about how on the defensive side of the ball, specifically the secondary, is a lot of new players. What's your general assessment of how you guys have been able to play together this first month?
Yeah, so it really started in spring ball when we just wanted to build that chemistry up, and as fall camp went along, it started to get even better, and as the season is going by, it's getting way better. And I think this week we'll do a great job, and when we start conference play, it'll get even better. So it just building that chemistry and keeping that chemistry has been the main thing.
Landon, just on third downs for the offense this year, I know 1 for 9 last week. I know it's been a struggle this year on the whole for you guys. Just what do you think's got to kind of switch for you guys to start clicking in those situations?
Kind of how Coach said, I think we do need to be better on first and second down, staying on track, getting our yards on first down, putting us in the right situation to be successful on third down.
I guess for either of you guys, how important is it to get off to a fast start? I mean, last week, won the toss, you got the ball, you put 3 points on the board early, but either way, who's ever around the field first? How important is it for you to either score those first points or get that first stop?
Well, yeah, so I feel like that sets the tone for the game. I always like going out on defense first because when you get that first stop, then you let the offense know, okay, yeah, so the defense is, they got it going today, let's get it going too. So that really just sets the tone for the entire game.
Yeah, just like what he said, whether it's they go out or we go out first, like the outcome of that drive gives a lot of confidence in the offense and the defense, and is pretty big for the rest of the game.
You guys both mentioned that the last 2 games are big games in your guys' eyes, and I know you didn't get the result that was desired, but where do you guys think you grew the most as a team going into those hostile environments and, doing your thing on certain plays?
I feel like we just came together. Like we learned like each other's, I don't know how you can put it, but like I just feel like we came together as a team. We got better. We learned from our mistakes, and we've been correcting those mistakes in practice and executing the right things that we need to take care of so we can be better the next Saturday.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of moments in those games that pinned us against a wall, and we all looked at each other and trusted each other, and we got through some of those moments. Some of those moments we didn't, and those are good learning lessons for us, and go from there.
Yeah, kind of along those lines, Ty, just, it's been obviously a brutal schedule the last 2 weeks. I mean, 8-0, the 2 teams now are up to out of power conferences. Just what do you take out of your, what do you take out of those that you saw, that you liked, that you hope carries over going forward, that you saw out of you guys?
Our toughness, I like that so when we play Maryland, we play with them for 3 quarters. Obviously like to finish that, but playing with a versus a Big Ten opponent and playing with them for 3 quarters is really big time. And versus Mississippi State, we played a half. This is worse than Maryland, but Mississippi State that was a really good football team, and I like that we played with them for that first half. And we got to be better in the second half, obviously. But if we could learn to finish when we play bigger opponents, that would be great.
And Ty, looking back at these past 2 games, you play against a true freshman quarterback, and we've seen how he's done in Big Ten, and then of course Blake Shapen, a 6-year senior. How's that been able to more test you guys as far as how to deal with imposing passer, especially with their skill sets?
Yeah, so you just it all comes down to film study and knowing what the quarterback likes and his capabilities. This week, this quarterback he's really good. He got a big body frame. He will run it. They got some design runs for him. So it's really just come down to understanding what he likes to do, who he likes to throw the ball to, and trying to stop him on the run.
Any other questions for our guys? Seeing none. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.